Rob came to one of my seminars because he wanted to use his home to help change his life. For most of the day, he sat quietly. He listened carefully, but he didn't say very much. Then we started talking about basements and storage spaces. The way I currently understand the outer mirror is that basements and storage spaces often represent the parts of ourselves we've packed away. Not because they're bad, but because, at some point, they stopped feeling safe to express. So I asked the group one simple question. If a removal truck arrived tomorrow to empty your basement, what's the one thing you'd run downstairs to rescue? Without hesitation, Rob smiled. His whole face changed. I've got some old football shirts. They mean a lot to me. As he talked about them, he got teary-eyed. The value was unmistakable. These weren't just old shirts. They represented something deeply alive within him. So I became curious. Rob, if they mean that much to you, why are they hidden away in the basement? He paused, then shrugged. I can't exactly wear them anymore. So I made a suggestion. What if you framed one of them? Put it somewhere in your home where you could enjoy seeing it every day. The moment I said it, his expression completely changed. He laughed awkwardly and said, "That would be ridiculous." That sentence immediately caught my attention. I asked him why he felt that was ridiculous. He laughed. "My friends would laugh at me. It's not something you do." Rob was demonstrating that at some point in his life, the desire or the free expression of himself had invited judgment or ridicule, and it didn't feel safe. Our conversation was not random. Neither was how these shirts were coming to light. Rob had attended the seminar intending that a shift would reveal itself. He was now seeing that he was stopping himself from experiencing more in life because he cared too much about what people think. That he had unique ways of expressing himself that wanted to express, but his body was saying that it was unsafe, that he would be ridiculed or judged. So rather than inviting him to take any action that felt unsafe, we did something much simpler. I asked him to close his eyes and imagine he'd brought them upstairs. Imagine one of the jerseys is in a beautiful, strong, masculine frame and hanging in his sitting room. We allowed his nervous system to experience that possibility. Then I invited the rest of the group to give their feedback. I knew Rob was in a safe space, free to let truth speak. Did the group think it was ridiculous? I wanted to give the whole container over to air this and see what it wanted to communicate to Rob. I had no idea what would surface. I was pleasantly surprised by the reaction. Everyone thought it was a great idea. Someone asked him what his favorite one was. What color was it? Why was it special? One of the women started suggesting using the colors to create more harmony in the room, changing the cushions to the same color or painting a wall. The whole room became lighter. There was a wonderful element of fun and support. As we came to the end of the exercise, I asked Rob, "So, have you decided to frame and hang them?" He smiled, took a deep breath, and said, "I'll think about that, but I am definitely going to take them out of the basement." I'd forgotten how many good memories I had in them. That was enough. Something important had been seen in the dark and had shifted. Because this was never really about football shirts. It was about giving himself permission to reconnect with a part of himself that lit him up, that he'd quietly hidden away without consciously knowing why. Here's the takeaway. Most of us have something tucked away in a cupboard, a loft, or a basement that still contains joy. Perhaps it's a guitar, a paintbrush, old photographs, a collection, a set of walking boots, something that reminds us of who we used to be or still want to be before life became so serious and unsafe. So perhaps the better question isn't, what have I got stored away? Perhaps it's, what part of me have I packed away with it? Because things are never just things. Our relationship with them often reveals our relationship with ourselves. So take a look in your basement. Find the one thing that still makes you smile. Then ask yourself, if this brings me so much joy, why is it living in the dark? What am I saving it for? Sometimes the journey back to yourself begins by bringing one forgotten thing back into the light. An opportunity to allow your nervous system to experience feeling safe in this experience. It isn't even about keeping it forever. Sometimes it's enough simply to bring it into your awareness, to acknowledge what it meant, to experience the joy it still carries. Rob may have decided to frame those football shirts, only to discover a week later that he was ready to give them to charity. That wouldn't mean the exercise had failed. Quite the opposite. The purpose was never the shirts. The purpose was giving himself permission to express something that once felt unsafe, to do something unconventional, to feel confident enough to be seen, and to discover that he was completely safe being himself. Most often, we don't need to keep the object. We simply need to reclaim the part of ourselves that it was protecting.